So, moving on to the big one that it wasn't Vrabel was the shock. Belichick we knew was coming, but it's the biggest. 20 some years, Bill Belichick has been the New England Patriots head coach. And I really liked what Robert Kraft said. I don't know if you watched the press conference. I did because it was pretty short and I wanted to hear what they said. Robert Kraft basically said, hey, we didn't trade Tom because he earned the right to go where he wanted. And so we're not going to trade Bill because he's earned the right to go where he wants to as well. And I think that was good. I think that there was a mutual respect between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick seemed to really appreciate the media. It's the most I have ever heard him talk to the media. And he thanked the media. He thanked the fans. And this was just a situation where it's a turning of the guard. You're losing the Patriot way. Kind of losing a coach who has been there as long as a lot of football fans have been alive. I mean, you can have a kid and have them halfway through college in the time that Bill Belichick coached for the Patriots. So I think it's insane to look at anyone else as the New England Patriots head coach. Even in Madden, I don't know if you saw this, but there were a bunch of memes. He never let him use his likeness in the Madden game. So people were like, thank you for your service. And then they had all the different like default coaches pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the only thing that really ever got me through trying to think of Bill Belichick never being a New England Patriot was, in fact, Madden, when I would play the Patriots and they would just pan to the random Patriots coach who would have like random glasses and, you know, a ball cap. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
There was never any attempt to like make it look like him either. They didn't like have him with a hood on or anything. It was like, looked more like Jim Harbaugh than it did Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, it's been all over the place. And then
Right.
and then a lot of times in my Madden games, they would end up firing the random default character after one season. Like, I don't understand. Like, it would be like over the last couple of Maddens because, like, obviously New England was still good in some of these Maddens, but for whatever reason, they would, like, go 10-6, like, before some of these in, like, Madden 18 or whatever. And then they would lose. And then for whatever reason, Tom Brady would retire at 39 or 38. And then they would like fire coach Joe Smith. And you're like, oh, okay, goodbye, Joe Smith. And then like New England would just completely rebuild and then Tom Brady would retire and then New England would fall apart. Like Madden was just so predictable back like in the early, like in the late 2010s, because like it would always be, this is how it would go. It would be your three retirings every single first year of Madden. Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, maybe Drew Brees, depending on what year you played, Tom Brady. No matter what age they were, it was always them retiring. And then after like 2 or 3 seasons, Mike Tomlin would get fired. And like all the like Madden was just wild. But we're getting off topic here. But yeah, Bill Belichick. Yeah, that's the only way that I can ever think of him not being a head coach was through Madden.
So why do you think this ultimately ended up happening? I mean, we know that they haven't had success since Brady left. And you could put that on Bill, you can put that on Mac, you can put that on Josh McDaniels leaving. Lots of things you can put that on. But why do you think this ultimately was the decision?
You know, it's tough to say that, but I think just over the year span, the couple of years span, I feel like the New England organization probably, you know, they've been winning for so many years. You know, they've always been in the talks. And over the last couple of years, they really have not been in those talks because after Tom Brady left, they haven't really been that notable. I mean, they've had seasons where they looked like they could make a run, but then they fall really short. And then obviously this season did not look too hot. They couldn't figure out if Mac Jones was going to be the quarterback or Bailey Zappi, and their defense was good, but like it just wasn't enough because the offense couldn't get going. There's a lot of little bit of missing components there. I don't necessarily believe that it was Bill Belichick's fault completely. I feel like sometimes, you know, the team that you get around you, like sometimes you do get draft picks that aren't that good. They end up being, you know, a little subpar or not to the likings that you want. Like, for example, they expected very highly of Mac Jones and he just hasn't really delivered that much. Even with Bailey Zappi, I mean, I think he's good, but I don't really think he's shown a whole lot. Maybe that just has to do with the team around him. But nonetheless, I don't know if it was necessarily Bill Belichick, but I think that they just kind of wanted a change. I don't think it's going to fix the problems in New England immediately. I don't think that by bringing in this coach, this new linebacker coach from New England as the head coach, I don't believe that he is going to fix all of the Patriots' problems in one season. And I think they were just kind of looking for a change. You know, Tom Brady left. It was the end of an era there. And I think over a couple of years, they just realized that maybe it's an end of an era with Bill, and maybe it's just time to, move on and just start a fresh page. I mean, we're seeing that happen. I mean, we saw it happen in Seattle. Now we're seeing it in New England. It's not necessarily they think they're a bad coach, but they just kind of want, fresh blood in there with some younger guys and whatnot.
Wait, you're saying that we can say a guy is a good coach while also saying a team needs to move on from him?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh, that's like insane. You would never say that about like Mike Tomlin or something, right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, like that. I mean, a team can still wait. What did you repeat? What you just said?
I was making fun of the fact that we said very clearly that we think Mike Tomlin is a good head coach.
Oh, did you just
multiple times?
Yeah,
but said that the message is stale in Pittsburgh.
Okay, because
it turned into something completely different in the comment sections.
Yeah, because that's the same thing. I mean,
yeah,
Steelers have a good team, but I mean, we've talked about that multiple times. And when it comes with Bill Belichick, I mean, I don't like Bill Belichick. I despise him. But that's just because the Pittsburgh Steelers just have never had the chance to ever really successfully beat the New England Patriots that greatly. So, I mean, we've just struggled against them for years. So, I truly, I don't like him for that reason, but I respect him as a coach. I mean, he is the best probably to do it. So, I mean, I don't really expect there to really be any other coach that's even close to him. But I will. I was gonna say I will miss him, but I mean, even this year they were 2-10 and they still beat us. So I don't know if I will miss him. I hope he does go somewhere else though, and does get that those most season wins as a head coach though. I think that's what he should do before he retires, and I'm sure some team out there will pick him up.
So okay, let's talk about that. Let's look at this. If you're Bill Belichick, where would you want to go? And then if you are a team, would you want Bill Belichick? Which teams do you think are going to want him the most? The Commanders have already, according to Jordan Schultz, said they don't want him. And that could be because they're assuming he wants to be a GM. They just hired their GM today, Adam Peters, who is the assistant GM for the 49ers. He's now with the Commanders. Do you let Bill Belichick continue to be a GM? There were questions about whether he was a good GM in New England. Where do you think he ends up?
I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, obviously he's been in like Massachusetts for years, probably. He's probably lived over there for, 20 some years now at this point. And I think that it's going to probably be hard to like move maybe to the West Coast. Like you're moving from one coast to like Seattle. I mean, I don't necessarily think he could, move down over that far. Cause like I said, that's like all the way over there. You're moving your entire life on one coast. I mean, even Tom Brady stayed on the East Coast, kind of, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Gulf of Mexico, because he was
Florida is the East Coast, though.
Yeah. So
same time zone.
Yes, same time zone. So like he stayed in the East Coast. He just moved south to the warmer weather, and just played down in Tampa for various different reasons that we don't really need to get into at this moment. But I thought Washington would be a good spot for him just because he wouldn't be moving that far. But I mean, what teams really need coaches over in the East Coast where he doesn't have to move too far? Because in a scenario, he might have to move over towards the West because he might not have a choice if he wants to complete that goal of getting the most wins. And maybe he won't be the GM. Maybe he's just okay with being the head coach. I mean, in New England, they let him be, a GM as well, but maybe they're just going to, be like, hey, listen, we respect your game and we're just going to let you be coach. But we already got ourselves a GM, and we know what your goal is just to get the most wins, and we'll keep you as long as you want to stay, or whatever their goal is on the team, or whatever team it is. So
there are two teams I'm going to look at as possible answers. One of them is, and this is going to slightly contradict something I said earlier, but I'm going LA Chargers. They already have Justin Herbert. They have Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. They've got some guys you can build around. You've already got, on defense, you've got some key pieces. You need to rework a little bit. You need to do some cap space gymnastics. But you got Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James. We got some guys over there. And I think you can get something done, especially if his goal is to just hit that win record and he wants to do a win now type thing. That's a good team. If you want a different team that maybe needs a little bit of help but still has some talent, sticking with the East Coast, Atlanta. We got Drake London, who's great. He just doesn't always get targets. Kyle Pitts is blocking for Jonnu Smith and Cordell Patterson for some reason. That doesn't make sense. He's like 4th overall pick. Why is he blocking? Got Bijan. Stud. Once again, why is Bijan blocking for Cordell Patterson and Jonnu Smith? Bill's going to fix that. On defense, Bill's a defensive-minded coach, so he's going to be looking at some of these guys. You got A.J. Terrell, who's not a huge name, but he's great. You got Calais Campbell, who's going to want to win now. He's the leader on that team. You got Jesse Bates, my boy, who was one of the best safeties this year, just got named to the second All-Pro team. I believe he's a Pro Bowler as well. So you got some guys you can build around on both sides of the ball in Atlanta. You got some young guys on the offense you can work with as well. Josh McDaniels may follow him now that he's out as a head coach. We'll see what happens. But those are my two teams that I'd be looking at if I am a fan. I don't think he goes to Carolina. I think Carolina needs too much of a rebuild, and he's going to want to win now and maybe get that Super Bowl. Because someone told me, like, hey, if he's willing to, like, stick around for 5 some years, then maybe. But he's going to be 76 then. And
yeah, at that point, it's not even worth it. I mean, that's the point. Like, I think Atlanta probably has, like, on the East Coast side, I feel like they have a lot of potential to be really good. I really think that their main struggle right now is trying to figure out, like, who their big quarterback is going to be, because, obviously Desmond Ridder has not been the most prestigious quarterback. And I really think that they might need to work on some aspects of that, maybe the quarterback, but I think they have all the other weapons. I mean, they finished 7-10, so it's not like they finished horribly, but definitely could have been a lot better. And I think maybe Bill Belichick could get them to, like, easily like 8-9, probably, or maybe even 9-8, depending on what their quarterback situation looks like. Maybe if he can revamp the team, I mean, or maybe they'll surprise and pull a Houston. Maybe a good draft will just put them into a really good spot. I mean, it's crazy how 3 years it can take to rebuild a team. It's crazy how you can in fact rebuild a team in 3 years.
You can. Yeah, It's possible.
It is possible. So, and they are in fact in the playoffs. So
I got 3 bingos on that video, by the way, in that comment section. But I just think Atlanta is one quarterback away. They have a decent draft pick. There's rumors Justin Fields is going to go there if he gets traded. So
wow.
Atlanta's warm. They're in an easy division. You can easily make the playoffs, get some easy wins.
Do you remember when that team, or the South used to be like the powerhouse of the NFC? You remember those days where it was Carolina, New Orleans, and freaking Atlanta all at the top with Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton for a couple of years. Oh man, and then Tampa Bay was always just at the bottom.
Imagine if Brady had gone a little bit earlier, though.
If you had that division would have been unbelievable.
If you would have had Brady, Breeze, Ryan, and Newton all in the same division.
Oh my gosh, that would. I mean, he wouldn't have left, but I mean, if that would have happened any sooner, that could have been unbelievable. If Tom Brady would have screwed up somewhere and just didn't want to play anymore, like in New England, let's say they had lost like two or three Super Bowls, in a row or whatever, and he decided to make his way down to Georgia. I mean, I feel like that would have been insane,
Let's talk about. Let's get
or
back
not down to Georgia, down to Florida.
Florida.
My bad.
Geography's hard.
Atlanta.
It's okay.
I had Atlanta on my mind. Okay, I play trivia crack. I'm very aware of geography.
Okay. Jerod Mayo, who was the linebackers coach, has been hired as the Patriots' new head coach, and this came as a bit of a shock. A lot of people were saying Vrabel was going to be the guy. He played for New England. They put him in the Ring of Honor. He's a big New England Patriots guy, just got fired. No one suspected Jerod Mayo, who I recently learned, and Patriots fans probably already knew this, was the 2008 first-round pick by the New England Patriots. So he's been with the Patriots his entire NFL career. Linebackers coach, straight to head coach. I think this is a bold move. I don't know about this. What do you think?
With Mayo going in? I do think it's a little bold, but it looks like Patriots fans seem kind of excited for it. I mean, I wouldn't say the entire fan base is okay with it, but I was reading some comments and some responses to different posts and saying that, hey, you know what? Give it a chance. This might actually be really good. This guy's solid. I mean, obviously, we've only seen him as a linebackers coach. He hasn't been coordinating or anything like that in New England, so we don't really know too much about what his skill set will look like as a head coach. But I don't know. I mean, they seem some of the Patriots fans seem pretty excited about it. Like I said, I'd be unsure about it because obviously he doesn't have a lot of experience. He's just jumping from a positions coach to a head coach. And I don't know too much about this guy just because, I don't know if he's coordinated before or if this has been his only gig or what he's really done in his past. But if that's the case, and he's head coach, I mean, they're hiring within, which may or may not be a mistake. It doesn't always help in Pittsburgh from our standpoint. I mean, we've hired Matt Canada from within. We've hired a lot of not so great coordinators from within. Mike Tomlin was not hired from within, but we've had our struggles with it. So moving to a head coach might be a little problematic, but he definitely has room to surprise. And I think a lot of people that are expecting him not to do well, a lot of people will go in with low expectations. And if he brings the team to, 7-10 or, something like that, people are going to be like, oh shoot, this guy might actually be pretty okay. And then we roll from there and we see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't jump the gun here too yet, Joshua. I don't think he's going to be that bad. I think he'll be okay.
No jumping?
No jumping the gun here.
Okay.
No jumping the gun here. I said, I give him, I give him 2 years tops, and then we'll see how he does.
I give him the 2 to 3 year rule, like I do all head coaches. But end of the Billy B era in New England, beginning of the Mayo era.
So are they gonna change Gillette Stadium in a couple of years to be if Mayo ends up being good, are they gonna get something with Mayo or something like a Mayo?
They better.
The
better
Mayo
get a
Stadium.
Hellman's.
Yeah, Hellman's Stadium.
Yeah,
Hellman's Mayo Stadium for Coach Mayo.
That'd be a marketing miss if they don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gillette Stadium is signed until 2036.
They need to trade for Will Levis.
Why?
The Mayo man. He puts mayo in his coffee. He already has a deal with Hellman's. It's perfect. I've got. Okay, my gosh! Hire me as the marketing.
Okay, well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen because Tennessee wants Will Levis. Unless Tennessee goes out and drafts yet another quarterback, which I guess isn't impossible at this point in time since Ryan Tannehill's walking. I don't really see Will Levis being moved. I could see Malik being moved, but I mean. Shoot, dude. I mean, without Tannehill, they'll have Levis and Willis, and then they'll have to, or not Levis yeah. Oh my gosh. They'll have Malik and Will Levis. I'm just so screwed up right this second. And then they might have to draft another quarterback, maybe.
Thanks for watching that video, guys. If you want to check out a most recent full episode of No Buts About It, that's going to be right over here. Yeah, right there. Check that out. And if you just want to see more short clips, we're going to have one right over here for you to watch. Check out No Buts About It on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts so you can listen to us on the go. Once again, have a great day and go do something nice for someone.